He looks so happy. Happy.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
This fall, the Sandman, Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend Tour.
I feel like we're very good friends now.
Casey Center, Saturday, October 4th. Get tickets now at HighVTix.com.
Murph and Andy, talking sports and more, exclusively on Iowa Everywhere. Driven by Ramsey Subaru of Des Moines. From the Channel Seed Studios, here are Keith Murphy and Andy Fales.
Thank you for that nice introduction, and welcome to Monday alongside Andy Fales and Andrew Downs. I'm Keith Murphy. Andy, NFL doubleheader tonight. Bucks, Texans, Chargers, Raiders.
I'll take a look at the Chargers Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm up for that. Bucks Texans doesn't float my boat, but I don't know. There was some good NFL over the weekend. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was. Boy, we're going to get into some of that because there's some real compelling storylines from the NFL.
Yeah, this
Let's
is a
start
fun year so far.
with the Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines, setting the table for sports and more. Coming up on the show, Ferentz 206, Cyclones 12, Burrow 3. And don't forget about today's special, tomorrow's special, Kentucky Fried Tuesdays. Kentucky Fried Tuesdays.
You could get
Guest
your
House Tavern.
fried chicken and get a half-price bourbon pour.
I think it's the only night of the week they have fried chicken. So
yeah, just get the weekend started on a Tuesday. I'm all for that.
Look at this, Andy. I got a
Yeah,
Guest House Tavern T-shirt on. Yeah.
that's a good-looking T-shirt, man. You go hide in the bushes with that thing. Nobody will see you.
That's right. Blend right in. Gave me a chance to wear my green sneakers, which is rare. It's kind of hard to do that. All right, let's get the buzz here on a Monday.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Your heating and cooling, following the weather like the rest of us, kind of up and down, and threats of rain all week this week.
I talked to John Edelin this morning. This is a great time for you to schedule your fall furnace checkup. They're not very busy right now.
Okay.
This is where you can get right to the front of the line, get your furnace all set for winter. Don't wait until it gets cold, then it gets busy. Everybody calls then. Go ahead and give them a call right now at Logier's. Get that set up, and then you will be done for the whole
Done.
week.
You'll be smart and done. Let's start with Kirk Ferentz breaking the all-time wins record in the Big Ten, 206. Passes Woody Hayes. Just the list of 5 puts it in perspective. You go 6, you get to Hayden Fry. But you have Joe Paterno, Bo Schembechler, Alonzo Stagg, Woody Hayes, and now Kirk Ferentz at the top. And as many people, especially Cyclone fans, have pointed out, there's some apples and oranges to this. Seasons are longer. Iowa played many seasons against the Big Ten West, blah, 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 all that. This is a great accomplishment. And there's no need to try to tear it down or to point out that Woody Hayes lost far fewer games and this and that. This is a loyalty and longevity record that Ferentz and Iowa should be proud of, because many programs wouldn't survive the ups and downs, or the coach would leave when he had an opportunity, or they'd bring in somebody else because they had a down season. I mean, for goodness sakes, there were Ohio State Buckeye fans talking about replacing the coach last year in a season they went on to win the national championship. So there's something really cool about this record for Iowa. And I do think because Hayden Fry and Kirk Ferentz have largely been so successful in their nearly 50 years, just those two head coaches, that I think Hawkeye fans sometimes forget that it is much harder to win at Iowa than it is at some of these other programs. And now Iowa State fans are living that life because pre-Matt Campbell, you just didn't have seasons like he's delivering and the Cyclones are having year after year. This is a really cool accomplishment for Kirk Ferentz.
I agree completely. And I think you can make a strong argument that it's harder to do this now than it was during the Woody Hayes era. Back then, I mean, a lot of those coaches were like Supreme Court justices. I mean, they were staying, right?
Right.
You weren't pushing them out. They didn't have they didn't have a contract. The contract situations were much different. You just had a guy many times until he was just ready to leave. And we know now that, these coaches, I mean, Kirk Ferentz, absolutely, when he was younger, he was courted every single year by bigger schools with more money or the NFL. I mean, there were people interested in Kirk Ferentz all the time, and he stayed. And so that alone is something to note. Also, just the number of wins, as you pointed out, that he got at Iowa. He continued to bring in walk-ons, 2-star, 3-star talent, turn them into NFL players. How many times has he done that? A countless number of times. He continued to rack up wins when many of his peers couldn't hack it anymore. Either they were pushed out by their fan bases or they themselves just kind of got sick of it. They took another job. Kirk Ferentz hung around, and we've been through all the ups and downs with him. We know that what he's gone through. I mean, he's had really difficult situations with that team where, it seemed to me a number of times where I'd have been on the next train out. I mean, I would have been like, all right, forget it. This place is I've worn out my welcome here, or it's worn out its welcome with me. I'm ready to move on. But he didn't do that. He was able to always kind of look on the bright side of what he had at Iowa, what his family had in Iowa City, and hang out and just continue to stay. So, I mean, he really is a stereotype buster for college coaches. I mean, he's a guy that does not just see the next rung on the ladder and immediately want to jump up to it. I mean, he's a guy that likes where he's at, and he's been through the entire thing. Even when he was at his most stressed, and he's had some pretty stressful points.
There's been some controversies.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but he has been, I feel like a gentleman. I mean, the entire time he's done the right thing as far as he knew how to do or could do, and I truly commend that. I mean, we're very lucky to have had Kirk Ferentz for as long as he had, but as long as we've had him, and not just him, but his family as well. And, it's been one of those things where I think we're so close to it that it won't be until he's gone that we're really kind of able to see the whole thing, in its entire scope of how unique this has been.
Urban Meyer said this record will not be broken, and I think he might be right. I mean, it's very difficult in this landscape to imagine a coach being at one place for 27 years for various reasons, and that loyalty works both ways. I mean, Iowa has been loyal to Kirk Ferentz. Ferentz has been loyal to Iowa. And this doesn't mean that fans and commentators like us aren't right about Groundhog Day and the offense just year after year lately. Just you can't understand why it can't be more productive and why the offense can't match the defense and the special teams at Iowa and what might be possible these past 5 or 6 years. But you also have consistent winning. I mean, there are 6 programs in the country that have won 8 or more games the past 9 full seasons. And they are Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Iowa. I mean, that should not be taken for granted. I mean, Iowa's kind of the outlier there as far as the program where it's much more difficult to win than it is at those other programs. And just as Matt Campbell is already experiencing, though not as drastically as what Kirk Ferentz has because he's only 10 years into it, as you keep checking these boxes, the expectations of your fans keep going up, and it gets harder to reach. And, Kirk Ferentz has won Big Ten Coach of the Year 4 times. He's won 2 Big Ten co-championships, several division titles over in the Big Ten West. They go to a bowl game every year. I mean, he's done a lot of really impressive things. But I think what struck me the most over this weekend is just the measure of a man is the impact on others, and just the endless tributes from players he's now coached generations of players. He's got like a son, he's got like the son of a father who Ferentz coached early in his years. That's happening now. And all of these tributes that poured in from all over the United States, they were black, they were white, they were small town guys, they were city guys. I mean, they just came from every walk of life, and they were all kind of the same tributes, father figure, great man, intensely loyal. I would do anything for him. That really matters, because his impact on the program and on these young men who are now, in some cases, fully grown men in their 40s and maybe early 50s by this point, he's had a big impact. So this is a time to step back and appreciate what he's done. And it really, for the most part, was the only thing that made that game interesting against UMass, because the rest of that was just brutal to even try to care about.
Yeah, how many people stuck around in the stands and on TV just for that?
It's all you had. Yeah, it's all you had. So we'll get more to the Iowa game and the rewind coming up from Nostalgia in just a few minutes here. And then Iowa State, our other buzz, survives a mild scare at Arkansas State. I never thought they were in danger of losing that game, but I have heard from some stressed out Cyclone fans who thought it was possible. Did you ever think, man, they might lose this?
No, I didn't think it was possible, but I mean, I was wondering in the second half, like just how close they might actually have to cut it. Like if they would need a last second field goal from the backup kicker. I mean, that was in my mind a little bit. I mean, it was a hellacious game to watch. I imagine it sucked to participate in. I can only imagine. Matt Campbell probably felt like he was passing a kidney stone in that game. I mean, it was just, there was nothing good about it.
Well, sweating.
Other than
kidney
the
stone while sweating.
Right. Kidney stone
so hot.
Degrees.
The Cyclones are now ranked number 12. They do move up. This is the way polls work. If you keep winning, you will move up as other programs lose, because, of course, you could watch this game and say,
nobody looked at that game and thought,
no,
that team is better than I thought. I better move them up.
Yeah, and we still don't know how good Iowa State is, because the Kansas State win is not aging well. They've got that Dublin hangover that many teams that lose that game have. Even South Dakota went out and lost to Lamar. Iowa, we don't know yet. Iowa's played UMass and Albany outside of Iowa State, so we really don't know how good the Cyclones are. We know how good we think they could be, and they could be in the top 10, the Cyclones, by the time Iowa State hosts Arizona. That's a week from Saturday, and it has just been announced today as a 6 p.m. game. So it is a night game against the Wildcats. The Iowa game that day is 2:30, I believe, right?
Indiana, yeah.
Indiana. It's good. That's
a big one.
Interesting day.
That'll be an interesting day of football. Much different than the one we just had. So let's get to the nostalgia rewind here. Let's start with the ranked team, Iowa State, Arkansas State. This is the better game of the two for different circumstances, including being on the road. Video here from KAIT. Cyclones got off to a slow start, but got into the end zone near the end of the first quarter.
He looks to his left. Here comes a rush. Becht now we're scrambling to his right. He'll tuck it away, I think, and try to run it. And he dives for the pylon. Did he get there? He did! Rocco Becht, a 10-yard touchdown run.
That is John Walters, voice of the Cyclones. So that's 9-0 after the missed PAT, which becomes something to worry about, because now we know Conradi is hurt, is injured. But missing the PAT, that just doesn't cross your mind after you've seen the dude kick a 63-yarder and a game-winning 54-yarder.
No, truly surprised me. And that's, I feel like I was already a little miffed at that point that Iowa State didn't have two touchdowns by that point. Rather than just a touchdown and a field goal. But yeah, that missed extra point, you're like, I thought we were past this.
Arkansas State took a 10-9 lead, but the Cyclones struck again before halftime.
Becht looks, fires to the right side for the end zone. Overby has it. Touchdown, Iowa State. Rocco Becht to Dominic Overby.
Well, that's a pretty play.
And that was a great drive, and that right there was it was the best drive of the game for Iowa State. It really showed you what they were capable of, and they looked like themselves there. And I was really happy for Dominic Overby. I mean, he's had some trouble. He's dropped some big passes this year. Now, not all of them were easy catches, but he's had some big drops, and that was a really nice catch, nice throw and catch. And Iowa State just looked really sharp right there. And I thought, okay, now they're getting serious, and they're going to blow them out in the second half.
It wasn't always pretty, but in the fourth quarter, the Cyclones do finally put the game away.
Rocco will hand it to Sama, runs over a tackler and goes in for the touchdown. He just steamrolled an intended tackler. Rainer wants to throw it. He's got time. Fires deep down the middle. Trey Bell trying to pick it off, and he does! An incredible diving interception by Trey Bell at the 7-yard line. What a play!
Yeah, the Abu Sama out of Southeast Polk, the touchdown, there was a stat on him that they put up in this game that was just like mind-blowing. Now, he finally did score a short touchdown here, but it was something like touchdowns inside of 5 yards, 0. Touchdowns 40 or more yards, 6. 60 or more yards, 5, or something like that. Most of those against K-State in the snow, I think, but what a crazy stat that was. But he scores a short touchdown.
Yeah, a home run hitter. There were a few drives, a few plays where it seemed very clear that Iowa State had better athletes. They were a better team. They just were not playing well in that game. What an annoying game to have to play for Matt Campbell.
He tried to get him up in all the ways that you would expect, but the team has gone to Ireland and back. Then they've played South Dakota. Then they have that really emotional rivalry game in front of and all three of these games were played in front of electric crowds. And then you go to Jonesboro, Arkansas. It feels 112 on the field. Stadium holds 30,000. And there were times in the second half on television, it looked like it was maybe half full.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a 10-hour drive, or I guess they charter a flight there, and Jonesboro, Arkansas, that's northwest or northeastern Arkansas, where there's nothing, cotton fields.
Well, apparently they flew to Memphis and then bussed over to Jonesboro that morning.
Oh God, yeah, to fly down to Memphis and bus back up to Jonesboro. And it's so hot there, so hot. There's nobody there. You can't mentally get up for this game.
Right.
And then on top of all that, you're chasing around a really mobile quarterback.
Campbell was right about the quarterback. He may not be the best quarterback Iowa State sees this season, but he caused a lot of problems. He was good.
He could be playing. I don't know. Is he a senior? I don't even know. If he's not, he could be playing for somebody else next year. But he was good. I mean, he was really mobile. And it's just like, I think the last thing you want to do in the heat, in a game you don't care about, when you just want to get to the bye week or get into the Big 12, rest of the Big 12 season, and you just want to be done with this damn game that you didn't schedule and you wish had never been scheduled. You don't understand why you have to play it, and you have to go down there and chase this guy around and eke out this ugly win. You got a guy hurt. I mean, just like, man, get this game over with.
Here are the Cyclones after the win over Arkansas State.
Today wasn't perfect, obviously, a lot of work to do, but I still think there was a lot of growth today too. And we'll take it, we'll learn from it. We get a chance to get into a bye week where we can really evaluate ourselves and we can move ourselves forward.
We were driving the ball downfield in the first half. We just couldn't execute at the end of drives. And, that's on me. That's, this team will look back, we'll watch this film and get better for it.
I mean, it's everything that we talk about every day. Like, when stuff gets hard, we can't flinch. And we just have to continue to trust each other, trust the calls, trust that people are going to be in their spots when they need to be and people are going to make the plays when they need to. So, I mean, just having that brotherhood and just trusting each other and knowing that we're going to fight harder for longer.
Well, several quick thoughts here. One is this is a survive and advance game. They just got it done. They won. They're 4-0. That's all that will eventually matter. We don't really know how good the Cyclones are yet, but it's hard to imagine the first month of the season going better than getting to 4-0. You played 2 rivalry games, and you won them both, one in Ireland. So that's all off to a great start. And then the third thought is just, hey, Rocco, spectacular hair. A lot of us can't help but envy. I'm just incredible.
Wear that headband. Yeah, it looks cool somehow. Yeah. I mean, this is a game where I think it taught them, it showed them a number of things that they need to work on. I mean, the red zone offense is troublesome right now. Finishing drives, as Rocco pointed out. I mean, it's just not. It does not look like a team that has honed its blade yet. There's still some chips on it. Clearly they have another gear, and we see that at times. We saw that against Iowa, saw that against K-State, saw that in this game. They have another gear. They just have to find a way to more consistently hit that other gear. The receivers need to keep getting better. Looks like they need to get healthy. It's a good time for a bye week.
Yeah, Gabe, it's a perfect time for a bye week. I don't know how it could have played out much better than to get in that. Gabe Burkle didn't play in this game. He's been great. And Conrady is that's a real stressor right now. I've been told it's in, for lack of a better term, the kicking chain, meaning something in the hip or the leg as you go to strike the football. And that's a problem for a kicker and really hard to not have that linger. So we'll see how much of a problem that is for Conrady. As we switch to Iowa UMass, video here from Evan Denton of Hawkeye headquarters. Thank you, Evan. Hawkeyes get off to a quick start against UMass.
Couple tight ends, one running back, almost the same formation. Play fake, Gronowski over the middle, caught. Touchdown! Touchdown, Iowa. Seth Anderson, welcome to the party. Gronowski rolls out wide left, throws on the run, caught. Touchdown! Touchdown, Iowa. Seth Anderson has his second scoring grab. 1st and 10. Here comes the reverse. The end around. And off to the races is Weegan. 10-5 goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Iowa! Nobody zigs and zags better than Caden Weegan.
Well, that's Gary Dolphin, voice of the Hawkeyes on Learfield. And that's pretty much the start you want to see there, Andy. Gronowski's throwing the ball better. Weegan had a shaky game last week. He bounces back with a spectacular game. And it all starts the way you want it to for the Hawks.
And I feel like those are my 2 biggest takeaways from that game. Weegan was great. He had a great game.
He did.
It looked dynamic. And Gronowski got a good start. Yeah, he still missed some receivers, still didn't look great, but he came out with a good start. They didn't need much in this game. And I think the fans were probably in there like, okay, let's see if, against a team with a bar this low, he can come out of here and complete some passes and make this offense go. And he did. So
He did.
I don't think there's any point in, pouring more into this bucket here. I mean, it was a game where you just needed to see a few things, win this game easily, and then you could just kind of march away from it. I think that's what happened.
The passing game slowed a bit in the second quarter, but Gronowski used his legs.
32 seconds to play. Gronowski on a quarterback sneak. He's sniffing that end zone inside the 5. Touchdown! Touchdown, Iowa! Touchdown, quarterback Mark Gronowski. He gets that 6'2", 230-pound frame rumbling and stumbling, and he waltzes into the end zone for a touchdown.
We're going to need more of that as they go into the tough part of the schedule. They need him to run, and they have a backup that can play behind him, Hank Brown. Early in the second half, Weegan, the Jet, puts the finishing touches on a great game.
Taken by Weegan at the 5, all the way back at the Iowa 5. Sidesteps one tackler, angles toward the Iowa sideline, gets a corner turn, 25-30, 35-40, cuts back middle of the field, 45-50, 45-40, 35-30. See you later. A 95-yard punt return. Touchdown, Iowa.
That's great.
Yeah,
it took a while.
Yeah, you get the idea. His Achilles heel is this guy's going to return anything. I mean, they could kick the ball into the stands. He may go in there and get it and try to return it. I mean, he wants it. He wants to return the football.
Yes, he does. And AD, you probably know this. I don't know if Andy does. So he's related to Iowa Everywhere's Mackenzie.
Yeah,
Enzo.
He's Kenzo's. I think she calls him a cousin. I don't know if it's like a first cousin, but they have like their grandfathers are related, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, she's known him for a long time. She like gets so giddy when he does well. It's fun.
She does, yeah. Overthinking coming up tomorrow. Here are the Hawkeyes after win 206 for Kirk Ferentz.
And Coach Ferentz, he's absolute best man and coach, so he absolutely deserves this. Super happy for him. These type of games, him setting records, it's so cool, and it's what college football's about. And he's been here for so long now. That tells you the type of person he is and how committed he is to the University of Iowa.
Just to be the team that was able to get that for him. You talk about like legacy and like leaving an impact on a program. People would be talking about him for centuries.
You just treat people right, and we've been so fortunate because I think we're pretty transparent about what we are, who we are, and what we're trying to do. So, hopefully the right people come here that want to be coached and they want to be worked with. And I think we're fairly demanding, but I think they understand what we're trying to do. We're trying to build guys who are going to be good competitors and good football players, but it goes well beyond that too.
27th season, and the Big Ten Network you're watching use this photo.
Why did they pick this photo? They just kept using this over and over again. It looks like, what happened before this was taken?
I think this is him coming out of the tunnel before a game.
Yeah, I think it
he
is
usually
too.
has that look on his face, and they just photoshopped everybody else out of it. But he looks a little bit like he's in a trance.
It's just like, Kirk, did you watch out there? Did you just step in that pile of dog shit back there? Those are new shoes, aren't they?
Those are new.
And he's like, oh God, Kirk, did you remember to get the? You're just like, oh.
Did you remember to flush the toilet?
Yeah. Kirk, did you mail that letter? It need to be mailed by today, or we're going to get fined by the IRS. And it's just like, looks like he's annoyed. Where did they pick? Where did they find? They could pick a million other pictures. There's so many pictures of Kirk Ferentz. It's kind of game face, but it's kind of just like, oh God, really?
It was cool to see a former player, Anthony Herron, interview Ferentz.
He was.
And the questions were longer than the answers.
Yes.
And the whole thing, like, it's going to be about Ferentz and this milestone. Don't ask him about prepping for this game or, like, what's that? It's like you don't need to do the regular coach interview. Just have it be about this. Get it over with. People wanted to go home. It was cool that he was there to do it. But after a couple of minutes, it was like, all right.
Yeah, and maybe throw in some humor like, Coach, now that you do have Woody Hayes' record, any chance you'll punch a player and just end it right here?
That would have been great. Anthony Herron was quite affected before that interview. They interviewed him. They're like, Anthony, what's going through your mind right now? What are your emotions right now as you get set to talk to your coach? He broke this record. Well, I can't put him into words. I'm elated. I'm nervous. I'm walking on air, walking on clouds. I'm
walking on sunshine.
Yeah, he was just like, Anthony, you need to sit down and pull yourself together before you do this interview.
Man, players love Kirk Ferentz.
They do, and you understand it. And Kahala and I were watching it, and he asked him a question, and Kahala was like, "Do you think he'll remember that?" And I was like, "Absolutely, he remembers every." Then that's one thing we love about him the most is that he remembers everything. He remembers every game from every year. I'm sure he remembers every player. He really, really lives and breathes that job. His players, he truly cares about them.
I remember one time on our radio show, I was going to be gone, and you're going to have Ferentz on for quite a while, and you're like, gosh, he said everything, that needs to be said about the football game during the press conference. How can we get him engaged? And we came up with the idea of asking him specific questions about games over like a 20-year period.
You were like, ask him like one memory from every season that he's had. And I thought
it was 20 years.
It was like Rain Man.
I was like, A, I don't know if he's that good, and B, I don't know if he'll have enough time. And the only question that that mattered was B there. I mean, we barely had enough time. He remembered every single season.
Mm-hmm.
He could give you an interesting anecdote about every one of those seasons that he had. I mean, he wasn't just like, let's see, 2002, I remember we lost Iowa State. No, I mean, he had like some little quip that you had never heard of.
Yeah, there was like a play he remembered from one of the losses, and like the season turned on that play. It was wild.
Yeah,
Meantime, a nice lady at Subway on Ingersoll called me this morning and said, "Any chance you left your eyeglasses here last night while you were eating?" I was like, "Oh,
you went
yeah,
to Subway last night?
Yeah.
Well,
Ran down there to Subway.
Told me that, man. I had a kale salad.
Oh, sorry about that. That's the Nostalgia Rewind presented by Barntown's Nostalgia THC Seltzers. Thank you, Barntown. High or low since our last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Yeah, Tim Hawkins and Company, or who you want to call, with any questions about your retirement portfolio, your tax situation, your 401k, your Roth IRA, all that good stuff that's going on in your life. WealthCharterRetirement.com. Yeah, I mean, let's not overthink it here. I had just an annoyingly under the weather weekend. It sucks. I mean, you get to the weekend, you're like, man, I'm going to charge right into this weekend. Got so much done. I just got up on Saturday. I was like, man, I'm not doing shit.
David and I felt so bad for you last night. You sounded so sick. I mean, I walked over at one point and said, I can anchor the news if you need to go home, because I just felt bad for you. You just wear yourself out when you cough and cough and cough.
Yeah, I felt pretty good on Friday night when we did the Football Friday primetime. I was like, okay, I won't be around anybody, and I'll be fine, and I'll spray the microphone down with Lysol when I'm done. But I mean,
we're outside.
I went to the doctor on Friday. I got the COVID test, the influenza test, both negative, and I've had it for over a week. So I'm not contagious. It's all gonna I'm just dragging. I'm usually up and rolling 2 days, 3 days tops after I come down with a virus like this, but I don't know what it was, man. Somebody slipped me something, I don't know, during RVTV, but I don't know. I saw it. I was like, man, I'm not, but I mean, what? It's pretty good to be sick on a Saturday with college football. You just got that all day. Although the Cyclone game did not make me feel any better. I just felt like the fever coming back to me as I was watching that game.
Just watching those guys.
Checking the temperature on the field. I was like, oh, God. Can you imagine?
You're going to those makeshift tents on the sideline, like you used to make a fort in your house with your buddies when you were 7.
Break out the blankets and all the pillows, and your parents like folding card table. That's what it looked like on the sidelines. But yeah, so anyway, I won't overstate it here. Just an annoyingly sick weekend, but at least our teams won, and there was football to watch.
I'm going low as well, and it takes a little bit of a story, but it all stems from our leader here at Iowa Everywhere, Chris Williams. Several months ago, Chris said to me, September 20th, let's all go to Eric Church. It'd be great. We can go. I know you like the church, and and get Jenny to go. I know your friend, Thinking Man's fans, big church fan. We'll go down there and make a weekend. That would be great. And I said, well, Chris, what about Iowa State, Arizona that day? Yeah. It's going to be a day game. Don't worry about it. I'll go cover that. I'll work that, and we'll go see the church. I got great seats. I can make things happen. Just hand me your money.
You're talking about the 27th, right?
27th, whatever. I don't know. This Saturday is the point, or a week from this Saturday.
Yeah.
What's it? 27th. Yeah.
This Saturday is the 20th.
All right, getting ahead of myself. Yeah. So 27th. So we do.
You got to go to
Thinking
church.
Man's fan and I both prepare to turn our money over to Williams. And I have to talk Jenny into this because the least favorite concert she's ever been to with me, and we've been to a bunch, was Eric Church. Just not her thing. Didn't like it. She thought he didn't move enough. She's like, he just stands at the microphone, and I don't know any of his songs. That wasn't fun. I said that was like a Thursday night or something. This will be a weekend night. It'll be more funny, more fun. Drink more. Do what you need to. So she agrees to it because she's like, well, at least I'll get to hang out with Ashley, and I really like her, and You know, she's our vet. Sounds like a fun night. So she agrees to it. And we're all in. We've spent our money. We have our tickets. They're good seats. All the plans have been made. And the Arizona-Iowa State game is a night game. And now Chris and Ashley can't go to Eric Church. That's my low.
Are we
So,
sure
Andy,
huge Cyclone fan Eric Church won't push the concert because he's got to watch his
I was going to say,
clones in the
and
game?
Thinking Man's fan is a big Iowa State fan too.
Yes, yeah, he's in conflict as well.
You want to pull the plug on this thing.
Eric Church, this is a good point AD brings up. Maybe just because of the level of his fandom, I mean, brought in to make the pick at Iowa State a couple of years ago, maybe he does like a day concert. Talks to people over at the Casey Center.
Starts at 10 a.m.
Yeah, just does like a noon show or something. So
Like
everybody
they could
can go
call
to
it
the
the breakfast pizza concert series.
Yeah, breakfast with church or church breakfast, something like that. So, yeah, there you go. Interact on YouTube, on X. It's Murph_Andy. The email is Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. All powered by Cellular Advantage, where you can now get the best of T-Mobile's #1 ranked national plan with U.S. Cellular's #1 ranked Iowa plan. All coming
Cellular
together.
Advantage going to be with us for at least another year. Doug Eklund, appreciate having you. Can't imagine doing the show without you. Thank you.
Jeez, yeah, it's been a long partnership.
Yeah, it has been.
That's great. Yeah, he was on the RV TV tour with us again this year. That's how it all started. So thank you, Doug. Love that. Now, give me a call about that iPhone 17, if you would. More hot topics. AP Top 25. Let's take a look at this. There's Iowa State at 12, up 2. Ohio State is #1. That makes sense. Penn State 2. So the Big Ten at 1 and 2. Notre Dame is number 24. That is the first time an 0-2 team has been ranked since 1988. So
Probably Notre Dame back then too.
Well, it probably was
Probably
Notre
was.
Dame. Now, those have been two good teams Notre Dame has lost to start 0-2. The problem for Notre Dame as it pertains to the college football playoff is they're not playing another ranked team, at least it didn't appear on the schedule. Maybe now that I think they might be playing Southern Cal. Is that Southern Cal at 25 or is that South Carolina?
It's Southern Cal, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so maybe they do have a ranked opponent the rest of the way. They played their 2 toughest games to start the season. They lost them both, so it's kind of a disaster. But Vanderbilt upset South Carolina. So Vanderbilt is number 20, which is incredible. And this game was no fluke. Vanderbilt put it on South Carolina. And Diego Pavia, who was the breakout star of the excellent Netflix SEC series, I think it was 7 or 8 parts, he told popular podcaster Theo Vaughn, if Vanderbilt won, he'd set Theo Vaughn up with his mom. And Theo Vaughn posted this today and wants to know when the date is. This is, wow.
That's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. That is, that's Diego Pavia's mom. He's been playing quarterback for about 9 years.
She must have had him young.
Must have. Yeah. He was he at New Mexico? He's one of those guys in the SEC series. They asked what he's listed at, and he said he's listed at 5'11", I think. And I said, "What are you really?" He's like, "I'm actually like 5'8". Because but man, he is a tough dude.
I got to get into that. I got to get into that series. I can't finish the Cowboys series.
I finished it.
That's too damn long. Jesus. I mean, that thing is like, I'm after they stop winning Super Bowls and the meltdown after Barry Switzer and Parcells and that, they don't need to continue on after that.
Have you made
There's nothing interesting about the Cowboys after that. It's just
There
done.
should be one episode.
I mean, it should be.
They've sucked ever since.
It should have
you
been.
made it to the drugs? Have you made it to the drugs?
What do you mean
strippers
made it
and
to the
Michael
drugs? Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. But that was right at the end of the Super Bowl run, and yeah, we've made it all the way through there. And then you're like, what? I was like halfway through at that point. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How long is it? Was just way too bloated.
So you got to be through like 5 or 6, and there's 8, I think.
Yeah, it's too damn long. I mean, they needed to cut it off after that. After that, like everybody's like, all right, the Cowboys are not interesting more. I'm out.
It's
They've
a little
sucked since
too
then.
nice to Jerry Jones and some of his decisions too, but that clearly they have his full cooperation. And
Yeah,
it is the
and I'm
gambler.
always-
I mean, he's
I'm
in the
al-
title.
Yeah, I'm just always a little. Aren't you a little skeptical of any documentary that has that much participation by the main subjects?
Well, yeah, you know it's going to be flattering, but I would tell you if you can make it to the end, the final episode is basically about the reconciliation of Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson, and finally putting Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor, and both of them talk candidly about how stupid they were and how sideways they got and how their egos got in the way, and that part of it is nice to see. Two guys who did remarkable things together. And then this whole speculation turns to where would the Cowboys be if Jerry Jones hadn't blown this up with his ego?
And you can say that about many of the great NFL teams of all time. I mean, you can absolutely say that about the 85 Bears. You can absolutely say that about Bill Walsh and the 49ers. He retired. The one thing it does kind of bring into focus is what a unique situation you had with the Patriots, where you had, clearly it's looking like it's more Tom Brady than Bill Belichick at this point, but the fact that you kept those two together and, okay with each other for as long as you did, I mean, that was a huge part of why they ripped off that really long dynasty. And it just doesn't usually happen. Right. Usually somebody gets happy feet and they get out of there, or somebody gets injured and they're, early and they're done. But I am into the Charlie Sheen.
We're starting that tonight.
You're going to like that. I started that.
I heard it's hard to stop once you get going.
It is. And again, you run into that same issue where you're like, okay, the main guy is kind of way too happy about doing this. But in this case, it's Charlie Sheen.
Right.
Who is crazier than a shithouse rat. I mean, he will pants himself in front of a live audience at any time. He doesn't care.
Oh, I heard him talking about the book, and they're like, there's a lot of misspelled words in this. And he's like, well, yeah, I don't use a ghostwriter. I write the words the way I think of them. He's like, I don't. There's no ghostwriter.
The crazy thing is about this series is like you can't believe who he grew up with.
Oh yeah,
it's just like a who's who list of famous actors around his age. It's like he grew up with all of them. It's like all of his childhood friends are in this documentary, and you're like, wait a minute, he grew up with that guy too? I won't spoil.
I know
it for you.
They're all like hanging out on the street, and then. What's the line Jennifer Grey gives him? Like, why don't you take that thumb?
Why don't you put your thumb up your butt? Yeah, he talks about that scene quite a bit and kind of rehearsing that with his dad, and it's really good.
We're gonna have something to talk about after I get done with that.
Yeah.
UCLA fires head coach Deshaun Foster. This did not work from the start.
No.
Remember Foster's first press conference at Big Ten Media Days?
I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. I'm just basically excited, really. That's it.
I felt so bad for him there. I mean,
that didn't land.
He's frozen up there. I don't know if he was joking or just he wasn't.
Yeah, was that
prepared.
sarcasm or was that?
I don't know.
I think it was sarcasm, and he was waiting for people to laugh. But which is funny because usually they do give him the laugh like that, the courtesy laugh.
Yeah, it's almost like he went up there not knowing he was going to have to make opening remarks. But anyway, the only Big Ten wins that UCLA has had in the Deshaun Foster era: Rutgers, Nebraska, Iowa. That's it. And something to remember, we're 3 games into the season. The transfer portal now immediately opens. Any player at UCLA can transfer because the coach just got fired. And because it's only 3 games in, that player could redshirt and sit out. I don't know if we're going to have any of that activity. Also at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just fired coach. So you have 2 P4 programs where the players can enter the transfer portal now because the coach is gone.
Andrew, start compiling the list of secondhand embarrassment classics here for Mike. that
was rough, wasn't it? I felt so bad for him, man. That is a secondhand embarrassment classic. Joe Burrow, Bengals quarterback, he's great, but he has had major surgery a couple times, going to have a third. He will miss 3 months. Needs turf toe surgery. The Bengals, after getting off to slow starts the past few years, did start well at 2-0, but now their most important player it is gone. And turf toe, this is what Brock Purdy's out with too. They're like 3 grades of turf toe. And it's one of those things, it's an injury that kind of needs a better name. Because it sounds like,
stubbed your toe. That's what it sounds like.
You're going to miss a game with turf toe?
Suck
it up.
Yeah, you hurt your toe.
But basically, the reason it's called turf toe is it usually does happen on artificial turf. And
it really was kind of like founded on that old awful AstroTurf that was so hard on football players' bodies.
So if let's say this is your toe. So as you extend it up on the turf, back here where toe meets the foot, this tendon either is strained, partially tears, or probably in the case of Burrow, tears all the way. So it's not really even in the toe. It's where the tendon meets the foot. And when it goes like that and you get hyperextended, usually while you're being tackled, that causes turf toe. So Purdy has a strain of turf toe where he's going to be able to come back in a couple of weeks probably. Burrow's out 3 months. He needs it. He needs that tendon repaired.
Whenever I hear turf toe, I think of this really bombastic sports talk radio host in St. Louis that I grew up listening to, Kevin Slayton, and he was like hired and fired by every radio station in St. Louis. Is
he the guy they call Mahomes fat, or is that a different guy?
No, that's Kevin Kreutzmann.
That's
Kevin,
Kansas City.
Kevin Keatsman over in Kansas City. Yeah, this is Kevin Slayton. He called himself the king, and he was just always getting in fights with people. He was rough. And I didn't care for him, but I was listening to him one day, and one of the Rams had turf toe. And some guy called in, and he's just like, "Oh, what's up, King? How you doing, man? You're the best in the whole city of St. Louis. You're the best. You're sports talk." Oh, he's just kissing his ass. And then the guy goes, "What's up with this wussy? You know, he's got the turf toe. He can't play." And the Kevin Slayton's like, "Well, turf toe is a big deal. That forced Jack Lambert to retire." And the guy's just like, "What?" And he goes, "You know who Jack Lambert was?" And the guy's like, "No, never heard of him." Click. Slayton hung up on him right there, and I was like, okay, maybe he's not that bad after all. But like, if Jack Lambert had to retire because of turf toe, there's never been a tougher player in the history of the NFL than Jack Lambert.
That guy would play with an exposed bone.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, this guy was the toughest. I mean, if you don't know Jack Lambert, I mean, this is going to date both of us here, but if you don't know him, look him up. Watch him on YouTube. Classic. The heart and soul of that Iron Curtain Steelers, their Steel Curtain defense in the 70s, retired because of turf toe. And it's a horribly painful injury. Yep. It does need a new name, but I mean, when somebody comes down with that, they sometimes they don't ever recover from that.
Ooh, gosh. Yeah, and I saw 49ers fans, not all, of course, but a percentage of them like, oh, yeah, Brock got paid, so now he's not going to play through turf toe. Yeah, it's not always that simple. Patrick Mahomes, 0-2 for the first time in his career. And that leads us to a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale.
Chiefs are 0-2. Only 12% of NFL teams make the playoffs after starting 0-2. Will the Chiefs make the playoffs? Yes or no?
That is a really interesting statistic. Like 1 in 10 teams make the playoffs after starting 0-2. But, I'm going to put them in that 12%. I think they're making the playoffs.
Yeah, I will too. I mean, the Chiefs are one of those teams where we've doubted them enough in the past and paid for it that I think they deserve that extra benefit of the doubt, or maybe a lot benefit of the doubt at this point. I mean, teams around them are getting better. You know, that's what happens in the NFL. It's not just teams that, aren't as good anymore. The teams around them get better also. And, that division is getting better. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, 0-2, that game could have gone either way yesterday.
Kelsey had a big drop.
He did. Yeah, there were a few tough plays, that stupid double tush push.
And those guards were
way offsides. Come on, man.
They absolutely jumped the snap. And it wasn't called. But I think the most interesting part of this is, and it happened with the Patriots, those Cowboys teams you're talking about, certainly happened with the 49ers at one point, Steelers all the way back in the 70s. When a team is on a run like the Chiefs were for a long time, they do get that feeling of invincibility and inevitability where they expect that they're going to win any close game. And the other team kind of starts to dread it, like, the Chiefs are going to find a way to win. They always do. And they had that going to the point it was frustrating to people. And now, at least at the start of the season, they don't. They have these games. It seems like they would have won these close games in the past, and they're now not winning them. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy looked bad for the Vikings last night. He did have a good fourth quarter in their first game win, but last night he had 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles, lost one of those fumbles. Vikings look bad against the Falcons at home. Rough night for the Purple.
Yeah, hard game for them to lose there at home in that platform after you just won a nice division game. And I just don't think anybody respects the Falcons at this point. Maybe they're getting a lot better, but that's just a hard game for the fans to have to sit through and watch.
Former Hawkeye Caleb Johnson made a terrible mental blunder in the loss to the Seahawks. Now the dynamic kickoff is working. At least it's producing returns. Teams they don't want the ball they don't want to give up to the 35. So we are seeing kick returns again. They look a little odd, but
they do.
Returns are way up. Johnson went to catch the ball in what's known as the landing zone, and he did touch it, but that doesn't even matter. If the ball's in the landing zone, it's like an onside kick. It's anybody's ball. So the Seahawks go pounce on it for a touchdown. But the odd thing about it was, not only was it a live ball, and you would think that they would have made sure that he knows that, the Steelers coaches, but he did touch it. So there's two reasons he's got to turn around and try to go pounce on it, but he didn't. He's kind of
I think sometimes the kickoff rules, the fair catch rules, get confusing in the moment, right? Where they're not instinctive yet.
They are, but like that's one of those, and I think he probably thought the ball was going to roll out of the end zone. It almost did.
Yeah,
but it's one of those where it's kind of like running out the ground ball to first base. You might feel dumb every time you do it, but the one time you should have and you didn't, and it costs your team something like that, it just looks so bad. It looks like you don't care, you're not giving effort. That it's too bad for Caleb. That was a bad look yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey. Andy, this is the guy that's going to kick us a 70-plus yarder at some point. He's an incredible story. I don't know if you know it, but yesterday against the Giants, he kicked a 64-yarder for overtime, and then the winner in OT. This guy was a professional soccer player and software engineer, and he was struggling. And then he and his wife put together a plan to try out for football. He had to learn to kick. He had never done it. And then he ends up in the USFL, and he's famous for this booming leg. Like he can kick a field goal like from 80 yards with no rush. And you could see it on the 64-yarder. It's like halfway up the post, up the uprights.
It's just a matter of getting him the opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool story.
I mean, it's harder than just being able to kick the ball that far, clearly, but Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. I'm surprised it hasn't happened by now. I mean, really, that we haven't seen this because guys are they're just kicking the ball a lot farther than they ever were before, and the technique has come a long way.
Now here's Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel explaining football outcomes.
To win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game, honestly.
Yep.
He doesn't seem long for that job, and that might be the sign that he's...
Is he making a point?
I don't think so. What do you think, AD? You watched the whole thing. I think he just got lost in his thoughts there.
And he's kind of a weird dude anyway, and that works really well when you're winning and like the vibes around your team are really good. It gets old so fast when the rest of that stuff goes away.
Yeah, and it's kind of the Bull Durham, Crash Davis, wear fungus on the shower shoes thing.
Yeah.
You know, you can wear the capri pants on the sideline when the Dolphins are winning. And have that look, but yeah,
it's like Spinal Tap? Is that line from Spinal Tap? Boy, the line between clever and stupid is very thin.
Hey, you didn't make it to the new Spinal Tap, did you?
No, not yet.
Okay, it's open this weekend. I'm waiting to hear. I guess we'll hear from Mr. Movie on Wednesday. I hope it's not bad. I think it'll be good. I hope it is. Confluence is the official beer of Murph and Andy. Confluence proudly serving the new light lager, Old Tavern. And, of course, the Des Moines IPA, which is so popular, is available everywhere. And Oktoberfest is
it's out there.
The
Yeah. It is Oktoberfest season, and they got an Oktoberfest celebration coming up first weekend of October. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we get closer.
Let's get some more here on a Monday.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
All indications were that the second anniversary carnival there at Either Or was a big hit over the weekend. Into year number 3. They've been jamming over there at 6222 Grand Avenue. Great patio, great inside, great place for date night. Check out Either Or. At least another day of this gross heat wave that stretches from Wisconsin all the way down to Louisiana.
So we're in it, technically?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be close to 90 today if we don't actually hit 90. Also humid and no wind. And it's kind of stinky, too, right? Kind of stinky. It's just kind of like dank. It smells like
it's like a dank
sweat sock. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
yeah,
a
dank stank. Yeah,
danky.
It's really gross. It's not pleasant right now. It makes you, this is the kind of stuff that makes you ready for fall. I always think that's crazy that every year I'm ready for colder weather.
Well,
you're in April. You're like, what the hell was I thinking last September?
But later this week, you're going to do that thing where you crap in the woods, dig a hole and crap in it. Like, is it any chance
going to the boundary waters? They already have the holes are already there in the boundary waters. It's not Quetico. It's not on the Canadian side where you actually have to dig a hole. There's like a fiberglass toilet seat in the middle of the woods that you can go sit in.
Wow.
Sit on. You don't sit in it. You don't
Enjoy
want to
that.
sit in it. Yeah. But I mean, I'm ready for colder weather. My lawn is fried. It just looks nasty. It's just done. Cracks in the lawn. It's so dry. All right. Before we get rolling here, let's take a timeout for a feat of raw human strength.
Jesse Hemphill is up. Josh Kimball is on deck, and Jared Hunt is in the hole.
Oh, goodness.
I wondered where that was going. I thought he might drop it on his foot, but that was more entertaining. Got to get some suspenders or a belt.
Does anybody remember how strong he was in that moment?
Nope. He's now known as the guy who mooned the audience. And just human nature too, right? You can't continue to carry the rock. You just have to immediately, because everyone does that when you have when you have wardrobe malfunction.
It's like holding his legs together at that point, and he's trying to scoot along like he's trying to get a new roll of toilet paper. Oh, man. On this day in 1969, Cardinals lefty Steve Carlton strikes out a then Major League Baseball record 19 hitters. Playing the Mets. At the end of the 1971 season, so 2 years later, after a third contract dispute in 4 seasons, Gussie Busch got sick of dealing with Carlton and traded him to the Phillies for the immortal Rick Wise. Yeah, Carlton went on to become one of the greatest left-handed pitchers of all time. Rick Wise went on to become a Trivial Pursuit answer to the question, what was the worst trade the St. Louis Cardinals ever made?
Carlton was always prickly with the media and I guess in negotiations, everything, but she was great.
And just like a weird dude. Like even his you listen to Tim McCarver or Bob Gibson, any of his teammates talk about him. They dance around. They don't ever call him just a weirdo, but they're like, oh, yeah, Lefty was out there. Lefty was he was different. But would give those interviews during a Cardinal game when he was in town that reminded you that, yeah, he was a lot, but what an incredible pitcher. This day in 1946, the Dodgers beat the Cubs 2-0 in 5 innings. The game was called early because of gnats.
Really? Some good trivia.
Just screw it. We're out of here.
We've seen some B games since, but I don't remember a Nats game that thick.
All right, so every state has got its nickname, right?
The Hawkeye State?
The Hawkeye State. Iowa's the Hawkeye State. Missouri is the Show Me State. Some of the states have nicknames that are maybe lesser known.
Okay.
Minnesota's the North Star State. Did you know it's also the Gopher State? If I said the Gopher State, would you pick Minnesota?
I would.
Yeah, probably you would. What about the Pine Tree State?
I think I'd pick Oregon.
No.
Washington?
It is Maine is the Pine Tree State.
Other side.
Yeah.
Okay, missed that.
How about the Nutmeg State?
Nutmeg
Somewhere in the
State.
Northeast.
Nutmeg State.
It is in the Northeast. It is, and nutmeg is a spice that is from the Caribbean islands. So it's not from the Northeast.
Nutmeg State is that's Louisiana.
Louisiana, not in the Northeast, and not the Nutmeg State.
I thought you said it wasn't the Northeast.
No, Nutmeg is not from the Northeast. The Nutmeg State is in the Northeast. It's
okay, gotcha. It's New Hampshire.
It's Connecticut. Excuse me. All right. How about the Flickertail State?
Flickertail State.
Reverend Ray Green reminding us you can get high on nutmeg.
My experience would suggest that that's Georgia.
I'm not sure what experience that was, but it's North Dakota.
Okay.
All right. The Silver State.
It's New
Mining
Mexico.
silver. New Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew?
Nevada.
It is Nevada.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go, Nevada. Thank
Way
you.
to go.
Total
That's
guess.
good.
This we have covered before on the Murph and Andy show.
Uh-oh.
So I think you guys will recall this one. The Beehive State.
The Beehive State. Maryland.
No.
I've got no idea. Montana.
It is Utah. Remember when we were talking about the name for the Utah Hockey Club, and they were talking about like the Hive or Swarm or that kind of stuff? Okay. This state is sometimes called America in miniature.
Is it the shape of the United States?
No. You'll never get it. It's Maryland. All right.
Yeah, I just said Maryland wrong time.
All right. This one I think you can get. Although it's had this nickname for a long time, it still applies today. This state, sometimes called the mother of vice presidents.
Oh, I've heard this.
Yeah.
2 relatively recent vice presidents
Ohio?
came from this state. No, it's not Ohio. That's close, though.
Indiana.
Indiana.
Okay.
Given that name, really in the late 1800s, as they had a long string of vice presidents come from Indiana, but then Dan Quayle and Mike Pence both came from Indiana as well. And finally, the Equality State.
Ain't Mississippi.
It's not. It's another city, another state that you probably wouldn't think of. But I don't know why.
Equality
Equality,
state.
yes.
Equality state.
All things being equal.
All things being equal is Wyoming.
You got it.
Wow.
Hey. Wow, Murph. That's amazing. That's a 4th and longer right there.
Thank you.
All right, we finish up with a trip back to the bowels of Instagram now. You know this is not going to end well, but you still can't look away.
As you see, physics is about to show you why you have to obey the law of gravity. Watch as Ernie's spinning around. Notice how his midsection is not moving. But some way, somehow, his pants are off. Ernie!
2 shots of underwear on a Monday I figured was good for everybody.
You're really bringing it.
I mean...
I don't think I picked that up as soon as I should have.
I feel like the market for belts in America could get stronger.
And maybe underwear.
Or maybe suspenders. I mean, I don't think any of this happens if these guys are wearing suspenders. I mean, suspenders don't, I guess they can come undone, but they don't slip, right?
I have a pair of that underwear. I have them on right now. You're talking about because it has sacks, because it's got a sack for your sack.
It's got the little dividing walls.
It's got
keep
home.
Them off your thighs.
It's got a home for your.
Right down to it's got the channel.
And I also have like knockoff sacks. Like they.
Oh yeah.
The other companies have been like, hey, that's a good idea. Separate sack for your sack.
Seems like Sack should be a sponsor of this show. We show a lot of underwear. We talk a lot of underwear.
Yeah, it could happen.
It could be out there. That's your more, everybody.
That was quite a more today. All right, time for Throwdowns here on
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns, backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto, treating you like family in Ankeny, Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, and Creston, an authorized dealer, both Firestone and Bridgestone tires. Andy, 2 years ago, Iowa State lost at Ohio. Saturday, they had a scare at Arkansas State. They're scheduled to play at Bowling Green in 2027. Should Jamie Pollard find a way out of that game?
I think it's absolutely worth looking into. I know that's a while from now. We don't know what the condition of his team is going to be. There's no reason to play these games. From a fan standpoint, there's no reason to play these games. I mean, you don't want your team having to give up a bunch of money. But at the same time, it's basically a wasted week. It's a bunch of travel that you have to pay for. I mean, seems like you could gather the money together. I know there's always better places to spend it than getting your way out of a game, but my God, I mean, that just, there was no reason to play that game on Saturday. I can't think of any reason to play at Bowling Green.
We don't know the full picture here. Pollard has explained that Arkansas State came to Ames for free, did not have to pay them, and then playing there saves a $2 million or so fee to invite somebody into Jack Trice Stadium. So he puts it at a $4 million savings to have this series. So, but not knowing how much pressure there is to save that kind of money, if you can, you absolutely do, because the single most important person in Cyclone football and the success is Matt Campbell. And Matt Campbell could not hide his disdain for this trip to Arkansas State. And he's the single most important person you need to keep in the Cyclone football program. So even if it's a financial hit, if it means it's more likely that Matt Campbell stays and leads your program longer, you buy your way out of this. You find some other way. Jamie Pollard is really clever with finding revenue streams. And even if he won't find the alcohol stream at Jack Trice Stadium, find some other way to make this up so that you don't have an annoyed Matt Campbell.
Murph, Iowa special teams had a strange game Saturday. Drew Stevens connected from 54 and 27 yards, but he missed from 38 and he botched a PAT. Reese Dakin's only punt was blocked, which led to UMass's only touchdown. But Caden Weechin had a 95-yard punt return, like 185 total punt return yards. Give Iowa special teams a letter grade against UMass.
I think it's a C+. I mean, if you don't have Weejan's returns, you're talking about a D or an F here. I mean, those are really concerning and surprising special teams from Iowa. So I think Weejan saves this from being a disaster grade.
I agree. That's good analysis there. I mean, just the units, right? The ones that just kind of run on their own method broke down. Punting and kicking broke down against a bad team. But I think would have absolutely broke down against anything. I don't know that you can take Weejan's returns, apply those to any other team, and say you'd have done the same thing.
All right, Andy, the three big winners at last night's Emmys were The Studio in Comedy, The Pit in Drama, and Adolescence in Limited Series. Have you watched any of these shows?
No, I've heard good things about The Pit. The only thing I watched was Nate Bargatze's monologue. How do you end up doing with that? His pledge to the Boys and Girls Clubs and trying to keep everybody at 45 seconds or less.
They had like negative $50,000. So at the end, they ended up donating like $350,000, as you knew they would. But yeah, no, the number was like way in the negatives.
I have seen two of these three. I saw Adolescence. I talked about it here, and some people who watched it ended up wishing they hadn't. They just found it too tense and disturbing. It's that show. I think it's 3 parts, but there's no edits. It's like seamless for the entire hour. But it is it's a kid who may or may not have killed someone at school. So it's disturbing content. The parents are in anguish over the whole thing. Jenny ended up being annoyed that we watched it. So, but I thought it was really good. I'm not surprised it won awards, but it's not for everybody. The Pit, we love that. The Pit is like R-rated ER.
What is that on?
It is on HBO Max. And it is
Noah Wyle.
Now it's
on HBO. Okay.
Yeah, and Noah Wyle won his first Emmy, and he's terrific in this.
We
and
love that show.
It's not just like ER. It's more about it shows you things you can't believe you're seeing at times. I mean, but it's less of a soap drama and more about what happens in a hospital emergency room.
Yeah, it's kind of like 24 in that each episode is like a 1 hour of a shift, and it's actually, unlike a lot of streaming shows, it's actually coming back after 1 year. You know, it's like the next season is ready to go in January.
Do you guys have HBO Max, both of you?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
And you both have Netflix?
Yes.
If you could pick one or the other, which would you pick?
For me, probably HBO.
You get far more content with Netflix, but you get higher quality with HBO.
And my kids watch way more Netflix than I do. So, like, as a family, it'd be Netflix, but I like HBO a lot more.
I
Netflix
do too.
has like every movie seems to be about a B or B minus.
Yeah,
you know, they do have some good documentaries.
And so does HBO. I mean, I don't want to get one more streaming service, so I want to trade one for the other. And Netflix has like been on the ropes for me for a long time, but my kids do watch it all the time.
Yeah, like to your point on HBO documentaries, that the Billy Joel one is so good.
Yeah.
The Bee Gees one is surprisingly great.
The other one I watched the other day, and I told you about this last night, but was Surviving Ohio State. That came out over the summer. And have you seen that one yet, Andrew?
No.
It's really, really.
I'm going to watch it. It's hard
to watch.
I've avoided it because of the content.
Yeah, I mean,
just thinking like,
it's very well done, and you will not see Ohio State the same way after you watch it.
Ooh, okay, I will watch.
ThrowDowns.
Send your Grimaldi's fan photos to Murph_Andy at IowaEverywhere.com. AD, what do we have this week?
Yeah, well, like what a difference a week makes. Chris put this up. The top photo there is our Instant Iowa show after the Cyhawk loss. And then we went on at halftime against UMass because we had seen what we needed to see. We figured Iowa fans were going to want to watch Hank Brown in the fourth quarter, watch the Ferentz celebration after the game. So
smart.
I like that you guys do
dancing.
that too. Yeah, just go ahead and start the show. You know, you got your finger on the pulse.
AD, I meant to ask you, and this is a good time to do it with this photo up, presented by Grimaldi's Coal Brick Oven Pizzeria, West Des Moines, District at Prairie Trail. By the way, we'll give a $50 gift card away Friday, so send those photos in. But after saying no matter what happened in the game would not make you feel any better because UMass sucks, did you feel better after what you saw?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Now, I keep it in context and in perspective, but yes, it was nice to see Iowa do what they should have done to that team.
It sure did. Yeah, it's time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared.
Yeah, this one's powered by Game Day Men's Health. Here we go. I go to the Ankeny location. Andy frequents the West Des Moines location. Scott Doctorman's over there in North Liberty on the eastern side of the state. Wherever you are, there's a game day near you, and you should check them out. Our buddy Paul Burmeister and his partner Chris Sims were on the call of Ohio State, Ohio on Peacock on Saturday. And one of the things that we love about Paul is he's going to tell you like it is, even if it means pushing away his audience.
So Chris and I would miss you if you left, but we would understand if you want to flip over to NBC. Heck of a game going on right now in South Bend. Notre Dame just scored again. Third quarter, they lead Texas A&M 31-28.
No, like seriously, I want to be like, why are you still listening to us? Why? Just go to the real NBC. It's company on company crime. We're okay with that, and that's a good one right there. We know this one's over. We won't be offended. Even my mom changed the channel. All right, my mom Diana changed the channel. She just texted me. She's like, we stopped watching your game. All right, so she's watching Notre Dame and Texas A&M.
I love that. Yeah. It's made easier by telling you to go to another NBC property.
Yeah, if he's telling you to go to ESPN, it's a different result.
That's great. Paul Burmeister is such a good dude. Quickie poll results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
So the Chiefs are 0-2, and only 12% of NFL teams make the playoffs after starting 0-2. Will the Chiefs make the playoffs? 76% of you still believe in them. 24% say nope. This is the year they finally miss.
I'd have to see it to believe it. Yeah, it does eventually happen to everybody. I don't think that's there for them yet. Hey, thank you for being part of Murph and Andy here on a Monday. We sure appreciate it. Thank you for supporting local media on Iowa Everywhere. Please like and subscribe and invite your friends to the party. In some cases, you may have to show them how to join, but there's multiple platforms, as you see on the screen right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ways to listen or watch. We're back Wednesday. We hope you are too.
Murph and Andy, talking sports and more, exclusively on Iowa Everywhere. Driven by Ramsey Subaru of Des Moines. From the Channel Seed Studios.
Murph and Andy was brought to you by Ramsey Subaru on Hickman Road in Irvine.